Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jacqui Van Ham, your girl in the know for all things motorcycle. Welcome to today's show, everybody. Welcome to your middle of the week program here. I was going to do a show yesterday, but then I figured with the New Year's Eve falling in the middle of the week-ish, the theme of the show that I wanted to do anyway was the good stuff. What are the good things that happened during 2020? You and I and all of us know all of the awful stuff that happened this past year. It's been painfully obvious. It has been a real roller coaster for 2020. It had twists, it had turns, it had bumps, it had surprise endings. It had everything in it. I laughed, I cried, I did a whole bunch of things, and it was way better with puppy dogs. I highly recommend puppy dogs going into 2021. So it looks like everybody else here on the Choppertown page are all doing shows today, kind of talking about like what were the highlights of 2020? What was the good stuff? What do you think the good stuff was? What was good in your life? Go ahead, stick it in the comments. I always go back through. I can see them as I get going on along now. I have the technology. Oh my goodness, I got it together. I can see your comments and all that kind of good stuff. So feel free to let me know what was the good stuff for you for 2020. And thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. First things first, I of course have to start the show with the good thing for 2020, which is each and every one of you tuning in and watching. And that's not just me blowing a bunch of smoke. Literally, I have been doing these shows on Choppertown, and of course the good stuff for 2020 is Choppertown and Zach Kaufman. The good stuff is I've been doing this show for I think like four years now. I've been doing a once a week or twice a week kind of news motorcycle program. And without you all watching it, clicking, liking, and sharing it, it gives me and Choppertown more eyeballs, more viewers, more partners, more kick-ass stuff, more sponsors, and in front of more people's eyeballs. I had two really, really good video interviews, job interviews. Send me all your positive vibes. Going into 2021, I'll let you know as soon as I find out about it, but I would not have even had that interview with those people and have been talking to them and been on their radar if it wouldn't have been for this show and for you guys watching it. So first things first, I do have to give it up to each and every one of you. Nothing but love. Thank you for clicking, liking, and sharing all of these videos. So my first part of today's talk, my good stuff, the silver linings for 2020, for what was good for 2020, is the fact that, as you can see by the picture on the screen, roads for the first half of 2020 were empty. Woo! There was nobody driving nowhere. This was your time. If you are an in-city rider, this was your time to shine, my friends, because that's when COVID landed on top of everybody's heads. Everybody was doing a work from home situation, or a lot of people, I should say everybody, but a lot of people were doing work from home. So there was way less commuting. Schools got shut down. There was no dropping kids off, no driving around with a car full of screaming children. So the distraction quality for drivers for 2020 went way down, which was awesome. So this was your time to shine, and I hope you jumped on a bike and went for a ride along with a bunch of other folks, because that leads me to my second point of what was good for 2020, which is motorcycle sales were through the roof. Street bikes, and in particular dirt bikes, ATV, UTV, go outside, live outside, recreate outside, be safe, be distant, have your gear on, don't be face to face, spit talking all over people, all of that kind of stuff. That is all embraced in motorcycling, ATV, UTV, and going outside and these power sports type sports. So bike sales were through the roof. So that was super good for 2020. Honestly, the sales numbers from almost everybody that I've seen has been the highest it's been in the past at least 4 years. I've seen that it's totally squashed 2016, which was the last big kind of high point that we had in power sports sales. And I think it went well and above and beyond that. The slide I have on the screen right now comes from the folks at Honda, and their sales for off-road, which includes motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides, was up 172% over last year. That's crazy town. That's amazing and incredible numbers. So that was super, super good for 2020. More people are either adding cool bikes stable. Maybe if you're a Harley-Davidson guy, maybe you picked up a cool dirt bike this year. Maybe you should consider picking up a cool dirt bike. It's fun for you. It's fun for the kids. It's fun for the family. It's fun for the significant other. It's fun to go do with your bros if you put a bunch of bikes in a truck and want to go ride some off-road parks. It's good for everybody. It's a total blast. It's a hoot. I'm a huge fan. So do consider adding a dirt bike to the stable if you did not already. But that is what was also good for 2020. Not only were streets empty and you could ride your street bike more safely, which was super, super dope. As you know, these cars aren't paying attention out there, but there was less cars. So that means safer riding. But there was also way more dirt bikes and people having fun out in the dirt, which I totally love and support. So that was also super, super good for 2020. The next slide on the screen is showing the dealership. So obviously people are buying motorcycles from somewhere, right? They're buying them from the dealership. So business was booming at the dealerships. That's all good news because that employs a lot of people. But here's what I loved about the new take, what happened at dealerships after COVID. At least in my neck of the woods here in Kentucky and Indiana area, you had to make appointments to go to the dealership, to go talk to a salesperson and go look at bikes or ATVs, UTVs, whatever at the power sports dealership. So here's why I think that was super bitchin' and super awesome, and I hope it kind of continues going forward. Way more specialized one-on-one quality time at the dealership. You're not competing with a whole showroom full of people. The dealership, the dealer, the salesperson constantly looking out of the corner of his eye, trying to like make sure somebody doesn't leave. They got to go talk to this person about this, what bike they were looking at. They're not really paying attention to you. They're not answering your questions. You know, it was way more personalized, specialized, one-on-one treatment at the dealership, which I support that. I think that is bitchin'. And before you even went, you kind of told them what you were interested in. So they pulled the bikes out for you. They had them lined up. A lot of dealerships were doing test rides off of the showroom floor. You could take any of their bikes out, and it was all like lined up and set up and ready for you to go out and rock and roll. And I think that is pretty bitchin'. I totally support that going forward into 2021. And I think that was super good for 2020. In particular, if you were a newer motorcyclist, you really needed to have the safe, you need to have, I'm going to say safe space, which, eat me alive in the comments, whatever. But you need to have the safe space to kind of ask the newbie questions at the dealer. You need to be able to ask things that might be stupid questions, which to me, there's no such thing as a stupid question. I will always ask the stupid question. I will fall right on the sword, right in front of each and every one of you every single time. That's why I love doing my shows about engine basics. I will totally dig into the stupid questions because I love that stuff. But anywho, so for newbies, being able to ask those questions that they might be intimidated about asking, this was a way better way to accomplish this task. This was the way better way to sell bikes, I think, in particular to new people, to folks that are maybe getting into a different type of bike that they never had before, like dirt bikes or like a cruiser or like a touring bike. Hold on, my dog's got something. Come here. I knew that wasn't going to last. I knew they were only going to behave for so long. That's what was good for 2022, though, is I got a bunch of puppies in my house. So that was pretty good for 2020. I'm going to set my computer aside. They're going to climb all over the place. And I got to pick up the things that they're going to find extra delicious, which includes a little cable tie. So let me get that out of their mouth. Okay, so let's keep on trucking here. So like I said, I love this version of what happened at the dealership. I know it was a rocky start. I know it was a rough ride. I know there was lots of hand wringing and tears. I know because I talked to these dealerships. I talked to these marketing directors during, March and, February into March into April. Those were some dark days, man. I hear you. It was rough. But then boom, April into May, everything exploded. Everybody got hip to the skip. Everybody figured out how to get on their Facebook, announced that here's your phone number, here's our email, make an appointment, tell us what you're looking for, come see us. Anyway, that was awesome for 2020. I love that, and I actually genuinely hope that continues going forward. Another thing that was really good for 2020 is while motorcycle events came to a screeching halt, which is a total bummer because that happens to be a field that I'm mostly in, here is what was good. Racing. So motorcycle racing still happened for 2020, and it was super kick ass. There was lots of rad racing going on. MotoGP, Moto America set record numbers for viewerships. More people watched Moto America than they ever could have packed into the stands at any time, period, hands down. Butts in the seats is old mentality. The new, and what I hope keeps going forward, is really leaning on digital content, making sure that these races all stream, everybody can see them, there's cool stuff to watch. I hope that goes forward because I also happen to obviously be in that field as well. So I think that that's what was good for 2020. MotoGP had 5 different Grand Prix race winners over the course of the season, which hasn't happened in a bazillion years. So their viewership is going great. The racing was super, super exciting. Like I said, Moto America was doing really well and did fun kick-ass stuff, including the race of the baggers that happened at Laguna Seca. If you did not catch any of that footage, get on the Google box and go look it up because it was really pretty awesome. I gotta tell you, I kind of poo-pooed on it and was like, oh, this is going to be stupid. But they got pro racers to come and campaign these great big huge baggers around Laguna Seca, this iconic racetrack in Northern California. The racing was awesome. The footage was awesome. The pro race bike racers all came to the side of the track and were pressed up against the fence line watching. Like, they loved it too. Everybody loved it. It will also, I've heard a rumor, a couple little birdies have told me that type of race, that particular race, that King of the Baggers race, will be going forward into 2021. I will have that information for you as soon as it is confirmed. Here is the bad news going into 2021 though. That means a lot of racing is not going to happen live and in person, at least probably for the first half of 2021. But like I just said, silver lining, a lot of these places are streaming it now. There's a lot of really, really rad racing to be had. So it's good, but it's also kind of rocky and weird. And another little bird also told me that the MotoGP here in Austin, Texas, that is scheduled for April, really, really, really quite probably will not be happening. It's just too difficult logistically to bring a whole crew of people over, quarantine them for one race in Texas, take them back to Europe, which is the majority of their racing, quarantine them again, and then race them there again. I think they're just going to end up skipping Austin, Texas. That is just totally me just spitballing. I do not have that confirmed. The minute I do, I'll bring it to you. Again, so this is a really, really good news. MotoGP had a great season. Racing is up. Racing is still happening. And by the way, it isn't just MotoGP. Racing is still definitely happening on the much, much more localized level as well. I personally have talked to several different race promoters. And again, because live event can't happen because you're too close to each other, racing with these great big huge grandstands, people can spread out, or they just don't really have spectators anyway, and they just are going to do it digitally. The racers all have their own individual pit paddock areas. They're spread out. Whenever you're really around each other, you usually have a helmet on anyway, so you're stopping that spit talking all over each other. Anyway, racing is still going forward on the huge, huge, huge MotoGP level and on the much more localized level as well. So make sure you go click over, check out all of those pages, make sure you support them, watch their streams, share their streams, or if they're having spectators, go check it out live for yourself. Another thing that happened during 2020 is not only did power sports sales go through the roof, but bicycle sales went through the roof. Have any of you tried buying a bicycle this year? Woo! They are gone, daddy gone. There is no bicycles. If you tried to buy a bicycle for yourself or your kids this year, man, I hope you were on Santa's good boy list because there was no bicycles to be had anywhere. Everybody is out on 2 wheels. Everybody is recreating outside. That also led to, I believe, a little bit of a boom, a little bit of a renaissance, however you want to phrase it, of e-bicycles and e-motorcycles, e-bikes type bikes. The one on the screen is going to be Serial 1 from Harley-Davidson. They released this. A lot of people are really excited about it. It's high-end components. It's a beautiful e-bicycle type pedal bicycle that then you work with. You control the throttle on the bar. And then another really neat machine, a company that is just bumping along. They are selling machines. These are, I don't know if I think they're assembled in the US, but this is a lot of veterans either work at this company or this is a veteran-owned company. I know they do a lot of work with veterans. They are based out of Southern California, but they're expanding. I've seen lots of advertisements that they're hiring in Europe. They're hiring all over the place. So this is my friends over at Super 73. I think that e-bicycle is just super killer. I love this little thing. I think it is just super dope. I desperately want one to put in my van as a little pit bike. I think that these are just amazing. They have several different versions of this, but their sales are obviously also going through the roof. So it's power sports, it's bicycles, it's e-bicycles, it's everything that involves wheels outside, which is super, super awesome. And that is extra, extra good for 2020. So that's my what's good for 2020 news. There's obviously, oops, wrong thing. There's obviously a lot more rad things that happened in 2020, but that was just kind of my bird's eye view of cool things that happened in motorcycling. Let me know in the comments what went great for you in 2020. I know right before COVID landed on top of everybody's heads, Daytona Bike Week still happened. That was good for 2020. That was cool to see everybody before the cheese slid all the way off the cracker and everything stopped. That was cool for 2020. I went to the Las Vegas auctions in 2020, which was also really, really cool. I'd never had a chance to go. Those were excellent. That was Mecum and Bonham's auction that happens every year except 2021. They pushed it till later in the season. It happens every year. It's just this huge, the Mecum auction is over 1,700 motorcycles go across the auction block. It's all week long. They moved it this year to the end of April, beginning of May, if I remember that correctly. So that was really neat for 2020. You know, and again, it was a really rough year. There was lots of bumps. There was lots of hurdles. I am super blessed. I have a roof over my head. I have food to eat, and sometimes overeat. And I have my dogs with me, so I am super lucky. I know a lot of folks aren't. So I just want to take a moment and kind of point out some silver linings for 2020, as well as have a little attitude of gratitude. Thank you. Thank the internet. Thank the universe. Thank Choppertown. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, clicking, liking, supporting all of your awesome notes and messages and your positive vibes for the past year. It has not gone unnoticed. I read every single comment. I read every single post. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you guys taking the time to reach out and say hey and you know, click, like, and share all these videos like I always say. So thank you so much. I will be doing a show maybe tomorrow. I should be doing a show tomorrow. And that's going to be what I'm looking forward to in 2021. That's my next show. So it'll either be tomorrow or it'll be on Wednesday. Make sure you hit notifications on. You are not going to want to miss it. Or give me a like over at my Jacqui Van Ham official page here on the Facebooks. I move all of my videos over there. So if you don't catch it live, you can always go back over there and re-watch them. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, for today's show. I hope you have an awesome New Year's Eve. Here is the best positive wishes for a great 2021. Huge thanks to my show partner for the past year, Vroom Retract Vac. VroomYourRoom.com, also found at h-pproducts.com. TwoStrokeTees.com, I've still got t-shirts available, free shipping in the US. And of course, Choppertown Nation. I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much to Choppertown, Zach Kaufman, all of our show partners here, all of our awesome sponsors, all of our other content creators. I love you. Have a great New Year's Eve. See you next year.